Hello everyone, and welcome to the next major update here in Stormworks. That of course is going to be the new coal and nuclear power update. Now with this brings a bunch of new components and along with it new mechanics. Now in this video we're going to be taking a first look at the update which was just released. We're going to go over some of these new components, see how it works, and see if we can get some engines running. So what have we got in this update? Well, of course we have got coal and nuclear power. Now we're going to break it down into different areas. We're going to first have a look at the nuclear power and then we'll follow that by the coal power. Now in game we've got a bunch of new components. The first set of new components that we're going to have for nuclear power is going to be the nuclear rod, which you can see here, it's a fuel rod. We also get an assembly, and then we also get a control rod. Now using these three pieces together, you can get a nuclear power plant or nuclear engine to of course go and produce steam. Now along with that, we're going to start looking at the coal part of things. Now with coal, we have got the actual furnaces or the fireboxes. This is what you're going to be using to actually go and burn coal in game. Now we've got two different sizes that you can work with. Along with that, we are going to also get some more mechanics with that, which is going to be the coal duct. This is where you can go and store your coal. We also have the new actual hoppers. This is what you can use once again to store coal and also accept coal from a outside source. So that could be, for example, from this little funnel over here, so you can pump it through that into the funnel and then into one of these hoppers. We'll take a look at an example in a few seconds. Along with that, we've also got the three new pieces here, which actually will be used for both coal and nuclear. The first thing we have is going to be the boiler. This is what accepts your hot liquid either from a nuclear reactor or from your actual furnace, for example, firebox, and this is what's going to turn water into steam. Once we have steam, it then goes into a turbine that converts the steam power into torque that we can use to power propellers, we can use to power wheels or helicopter blades, whatever else it needs to be, even train wheels we can use that for. And then lastly, we have got the condenser. What that does is it then will take any steam that's left over, convert it back over to fluid or to water, meaning that you can use it once again in your boiler. So it's a nice little closed loop system. Now the devs have gone and actually built some examples that you can find in your workbench. So if you're struggling to learn how these new mechanics work, you can take a look at that and get some ideas. Now, of course, we have got a bunch of examples that we're going to be taking a look at in this video. From my left here, I've got a big nuclear reactor. On the right here, we've got a steam engine that we're going to get fired up. We've also got a way to show you how the new gantries work in kind of my own design. And then also I've got a little bit of a steam train that I quickly put together to show you guys. So let's start off by having a look at the little nuclear reactor. You can see inside here we've got the nuclear rods, the assembly, and also the control rods in here. Now with this, you want to keep it at a nice temperature so it doesn't melt down. Obviously the higher you get in your temperature, you do have more risk of obviously melting this down and then obviously causing radiation leak, which you don't want in game. Now with the nuclear parts, we actually got a couple new components that we can use, not just the fuel rods and assemblies, but we got the hazmat suit itself, which you can see just on me right over here. Along with that, we've also got a new Geiger counter or the radiation detector, which you can simply put in your hand and you can see it will start to tick when you get closer and closer to radiation. Very useful for, of course, if you're out and about the world and if you want to see if an area has got any radiation to it, that's very useful. We've also got a radiation detector that you can add to your vehicles. At the moment, it's got the same kind of body as your temperature sensor, so that you can just add to your creation and it will tell you if there's any radiation in the world. Now, of course, with the radiation, if you dispose of any of your rods or anything, or if you have a meltdown, areas within the world of Stormworks can become very harmful and can get polluted with radiation poisoning, meaning that some areas you might not actually want to go to. And if you do go to them, you'll have to be wearing protective clothing. Otherwise, your character might actually get sick from radiation, which is quite interesting, a little mechanic with it. So with this, let's have a look at this. So we've got the little nuclear plant. What it's doing is actually heating up the fluid around it, and it's actually transferring that into a boiler, and that's actually heating the boiler up, which in turn is creating steam. And with that steam, it can actually go into a turbine, which can go and power a propeller, for example, or generator or train wheels, whatever else it needs to do, which is really pretty cool. So that's the little nuclear thing. I think it's really cool. It is quite big and it is quite heavy, so you need to take that into account, but you can build it as big as or small as you want depending on how much power you need. Let's jump over to the coal part. So as I said already, we've got the coal firebox. This is how we can go and burn our coal and we can produce heat, which will then go into a boiler, for example, similar to how we did it for the nuclear reactor. So we'll go in there. So with the firebox, very simple, make sure it's got coal. And once it's got coal, we can of course ignite it, and then it starts to burn. And as it burns, it will go and increase its temperature. Now you can pick up the coal, and you can see we've got it in our hands now. We can move it around from the duct into here, or vice versa. Or we can get it from one of these ducts and put it in the coal little box here. It's completely up to us. Now once this gets up to its temperature, it will obviously start to heat up the boiler, which will then produce steam, which we can then use inside of our turbine and will then turn our actual propeller. I've got it set up so that any excess steam actually comes through the condenser and brings it back into fluid and then brings it back into the boiler. So it's a nice little closed loop system. Now another cool little feature is with our fluid tanks here in game now, we've actually got 2 ports. We've got on either side, which is a nice little addition here, I think. A nice little feature that they've gone and added on there, which is pretty cool. Along with this, so here I've got a couple of the ducts all joined together. I've got a small one and I've got the really big ones here. At the end, we've also got a funnel. Now that funnel can be activated using a push button. You can see here, it actually starts falling out on the ground, making this really interesting sound. And here is the coal on the ground. Now I wouldn't recommend you store it like this, because after a certain amount of seconds it actually goes and despawns. You need to go and store your coal either in one of the ducts or in one of the hoppers. That's where it's designed to be kept, and that way it won't actually despawn. If we stay here long enough, this will start to despawn. But it is pretty cool, and actually doesn't provide any performance decrease in my testing at least, which is quite nice. You can also drop it if you want to. So that's just a quick look at the different engines that we have, and yeah, I think it's really pretty cool. I like this humming noise from the nuclear reactor. Let's go and take a look at the little steam engine that we've created. So we've taken some of those parts and we put them together. You can see here I've got the boiler, I've got the turbine, I've got a condenser here, a couple of fluid tanks, and I've also got a ton of hoppers here at the back that we can access if we need more coal, which is pretty cool. And we've got a little boiler here and a little firebox. So it's already got some coal in it, but if we needed, we could fill it up with some more. And it should just be a relatively simple process of hopefully lighting up the firebox, waiting for the temperature to reach up to a good temperature, and then we'll wait for the boiler pressure to hit up also, and then hopefully we can go and drive this train with steam power, which is really cool. I'd love to spend some more time with this update. Now with it, obviously with coal, it is a new tradable resource. So you'll find locations throughout the world where you can buy and also sell your coal. So for example, if we go here on the map here, we can just go down to, for example, our Dean Hall Mining Company, and we can go and buy the coal just over here, which is pretty cool. Now the devs said they have reworked the actual gantries and the fluid buying and selling mechanics, so that's going to change dynamically. So you might find new locations that it's going to go and spawn, and also the prices will change. At the moment, I've managed to spot a few of the coal buying and selling places up in the Arctic and also down here in the south. So it could be pretty cool, especially if you're transporting, for example, coal from the Sawyer Islands here by train all the way up to the Arctic and you're selling it there. There actually is a new little place where you can go and drop it from like the bottom of your train, which is really pretty cool. I thought they did a great job with that. That you can put it in your train cars and then you can just drop it at the bottom, which I think is really pretty cool. So this has been going for a while. You'll see there's a little bit of a glow from the furnace or from the firebox here. We've got a boiler temperature currently of 60. And our firebox I think is probably around 180, 120, okay? So it's still heating up, and then once it gets to its, I think it's 100 on the boiler temperature, it will actually start to produce pressure, and then once we get enough pressure, we'll give it some throttle, and then we'll send that steam through into the turbine, and hopefully we can get moving. Now I would love to get maybe some sound effects for the steam. At the moment, as far as I'm aware, I haven't heard any sound effects for steam escaping any valves or anything, so I'd love to hear of that maybe in the future, and maybe also get some whistles. That would also be really cool, especially for all the steam train fanatics out there. I think it'll be really fun. So you can see we're starting to build up pressure, which means we can actually get some throttle on our train here, and we should start to move. And there we go, we're moving. We got a steam train. This is really awesome doing this. Oh man, this is really fun. And the what's in the coal will actually hopefully last a really long time. That's the whole point of the nuclear and the coals, that it takes, the fuel will last a really long time, which means you can go a long distance with the coal and with the nuclear. The only problem is it's large and it's heavy. So, you know, it's designed for your trains, designed for your large ships here in Stormworks that you have a lot of space with, and you can get quite a lot of power out of it. And you can see this train's doing a really good speed for just a quick little build that I've managed to go into. And you can see I can drop the throttle here. I will start to build up some pressure here, and the train will slowly slow down. So guys, that is a quick little first look at the update. I'm really excited to do some more building, do some more testing with all the new things that we have here. It looks like a lot of fun. As I said, I've only had a very limited amount of time with all these things, so I'm still experiencing and discovering all these features just like you guys are, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see what the community can come up with for this update. There's been a few small little fixes and changes, but I think I've covered the most of it in this video. I'm not 100% sure why this didn't go onto experimental branch to work through some bugs. From my very limited testing here now, I haven't seen any. It seems like everything is running fine from my experience. Maybe I've missed something, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see if any bugs appear in there. But from my testing, at least, it seems like everything is working as intended, and it seems like it's nice and stable, which is really good to see here with the Stormworks developers here in Stormworks. So guys, that's it. Give me a thumbs up on the video if you have enjoyed it. If you want to hit that subscribe button and a little bell icon to get notified of any future videos. I am going to be doing another video where we're going to be building a nuclear reactor, and also another video where we're going to be building a actual steam/coal engine here in a few days and a few hours time. So definitely don't forget to hit that subscribe and that bell icon to be notified as soon as that video gets posted. And until then, we will see you in the next one.